Hey, what is up you guys? BetaBlader95 here, and today I'll be doing a review for Red Dragon King! or you can just call it King Rykuso, like the rest of the world, but it's your call, fam. Yes, this is the Sono Kong adaptation of King Rykuso. It is referred to as the Red Dragon King, and its counterpart is the Blue Dragon King. Very interesting, to say the least. That you would think this was like a Hasbro product with a name like that. So, yay, shots fired for that one, guys. But yes, this is, of course, like I said, the Sono Kong adaptation of the 02 Systems King Rykuso, and I've got to say, I consider Bdaman like this to be 1.5. If you have seen the original Battle Bdaman bodies, they're pretty much exactly the same as this, and although this is referred to as 02, this Bdaman, as well as its counterpart, did not appear in the anime until like part 2 of season 1, so technically speaking, this isn't official 02, this is more like a prototype 02, and that is why I refer to it as 1.5, because this is a 02 core, not this little thing, but complaints out of the way. On the side of the box, we have a product image. We have what the core looks like, which, interestingly enough, because, you know, selling a remodel or a remold of the same toy twice isn't good enough, so they actually copied this body over, the core at least, and used it as the body/core for the cartridge adaptation of this Bdaman, using it as Meteor Dragon. So, yay, merchandising. On the side of the box here, this is obviously a rapid-fire type. You never would have guessed it with that giant magazine on it, would you? They do have, of course, showing off the gimmick of the little shield, scope, sight, whatever you want to refer it as. Complaint about this, pretty big complaint actually, and you get to that later. The bottom of the box is nothing. You can read Korean. There you go. And on the back of the box, product images, just so you guys know, this is a magazine. It's a magazine! Apparently, nobody knew this was a magazine, so they had to make sure they told you this was a magazine. It does feature stabilizers on the back of the feet. They're very nicely done. Can't wait to get into those. We have what the Bdaman looks like, of course, without all of its armor on, all the specs of the armor, and, yeah, don't shoot yourself in the eye, don't eat a part or you will die, hashtag making it rhyme. With that being said, and the box has been properly thrown, I can show you the core to this Bdaman. This is pretty disappointing. However, not as disappointing as this. So, this is the core from Meteor Dragon. Mine looks horrendous because I bought it secondhand. So, you know, there's that. But just look at this. That is, that's pretty shamelessly lazy. I mean, with the exception of a few modifications to this core, these are pretty much the same thing. It's pretty degrading, but I guess, I mean, whatever floats your boat, guys. So, yes, 1.5 cartridge system. So, yeah. And of course, before I finish reassembling this Bdaman, I do have a complaint about its design. This drives me absolutely nuts, but because this is 1.5, the head is its own individual part, and it doesn't really have a way to peg onto the arms, so the answer for this was these cheap little plastic washers. These things are ridiculously tiny. They barely hold up. I have to scratch build like a dozen of these at least every few months, so when something breaks I can replace it. But yes, that is an unfortunate purchase, little thing you have to put up with, but that's just me nitpicking. With that being said and done, though, this is a pretty nice Bdaman. Now, of course, you do get a standard glass Bdaman with this. If you want the metal spike shot for this Bdaman, it is not included with King Bakuso or King Rykuso. That is because, like I said, they appeared halfway through Season 1, where basically strike shots didn't exist until Season 2, which is Fire Spirits. So if you do want the metal spike shots, you do need to go buy the cartridge adaptation of these Bdaman, and that is Comet Dragon and Meteor Dragon. So, sorry guys. That's how marketing works. Anyway, aesthetically wise, this is a very nice Bdaman. The bright red definitely pops. The crimson on the body and that lemon yellow definitely make this quite noticeable. It's definitely interesting. I didn't own the original Bakuso or Rykuso. I never liked them before, and I still kind of don't like them. But this is a pretty nicely designed Bdaman. I do have quite a few complaints about it, though. But like I said, we'll get to those in the end. So, horn up here is made of rubber. It's the same thing with its counterparts. I guess they don't want you stabbing your eyes out, so rubber it is. Nothing too spectacular on this. Both this and King Bakuso are recast. One thing that is pretty neat, though, is the stabilizer parts here, and this is just its own individual part. It has a little slot here, peg here, and if we can focus, there we go, they just slide in like such, and there you go. And that actually works quite well. This, with the magazine attached, this Bdaman does hold 6 bdama, and these stabilizers can hold it quite well. They're definitely probably some of the better stabilizers that we've received throughout the Battle Bdaman era, and that's pretty nice. Firing wise, it's rapid fire type, nothing too special. You can just nothing too spectacular here. It is a rapid fire type. You should not have standards for that, but yes, that is a thing. Of course, you can pop off the magazine, and it's just your standard 02 system magazine. Nothing spectacular on here, and it plugs in on the back, just like all magazines do. Now, this one does have a gimmick. This little shield / sight can pop up and fold out, and you can use it as a nice little sight to fire. Unfortunately, it's going to be impossible for you to reload at that point, so keep it facing forward. And of course, you can use it to aim at a target and take it out, which I guess is kind of fun. There's a lot of issues with this Bdaman, and it's kind of unfortunate because aesthetic-wise, it is kind of nice. My biggest complaint with this is that it is an entire remold. All of the bright red pieces you see on here are the exact same on King Rykuso, aka Blue Dragon King, and just molded in different colors. The only thing that's really unique to this Bdaman is the core, the stabilizer, and the magazine along with the horn, and that is pretty down. Unfortunately, this also isn't the best rapid fire type. If you do want a rapid fire type, go buy yourself a Chrome Raven Cyclone. I really couldn't recommend this to you guys unless you want it for your collection, or you want to do the King Rykuso, which is a rant video coming out about that Bdaman, because it's very long story short, but neither versions of King Bakuso or King Rykuso actually advertise how to make King Rykuso, and because of that, the only way you can really make it is if you go on the Bdaman Wiki and look at images from the anime of all things to how to make that Bdaman. So it is pretty unfortunate. And finally, before I wrap up this video, a huge question people always ask about the 02 system is it DHB compatible? Well, we do have our DHB Advanced Core here. We have our Bdaman, so give me a moment. We heard you like stabilizers. We put stabilizers on your stabilizers on your stabilizers. Yeah, This is something pretty crazy. If this thing wasn't balanced enough for you using the included stabilizers with the unit, you can mount the stabilizers from the b-daman onto the unit and have this monstrosity. This is something that is possible, which is pretty funny to me. It's definitely something. I gotta say, because Revolver Hades actually failed this test, the arms with Revolver Hades and Go Tiger as well, they just fall right off these pegs here, and with King Rykuso, they're pretty stable. Those things are not popping off anytime soon, which is very appreciated, because now I can comfortably fire it and not have to worry about an arm falling off on me. Of course, my usual complaint is we have to use those same crappy plastic washers to keep the head attached, which is probably the biggest flaw with the system. You can, of course, mount the magazine onto here. This is, of course, the 02 DHB unit, so you can mount its magazine. Gil Scorpion's magazine, Revolver Hades magazine, just a 02 magazine, it'll mount. The scope gimmick does work still, and if you want to be that guy, you can actually align the cross sights with the blast shield sight, and just fire away. So, yay, we have options. That's always good, am I right? Just fold that back down. And now that it is time for us to wrap up this review, I can't really recommend this to you guys. If you're a collector, go for it. If you want to have a King Rykuso because you already have Rykuso and Shooting Star Dragon, go for it. But it's not that good. It's probably one of the weaker 1.5 b-daman. It's nothing spectacular. It's nothing that's gonna be like, take this to a little b-daman event with your friends or the Bdaman Wiki forums, and you think you're gonna win with this. You're not. This thing is just not good, and of course the specs don't improve with it when you combine it into King Rykuso, because the core doesn't upgrade, so you still just have the same crappy Bdaman with different armor pieces on it, which is very unfortunate. But, that is it. If you want a good 02 Bdaman, go buy a Cobalt Saberfire, a Revolver Hades, a Gil Scorpion, Chrome Raven, Cyclone, Break Ogre, literally anything that is not Red or Blue Dragon King. With that being said and done, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you at the next review.